It is the sickest feeling you can imagine because your mistake hurts so many other people, and it is hard to shake it off.
I feel like saying something to people in that situation, especially if you don't know them that well. You don't know if you're adding unnecessary pressure, if he's already in that mindset. And there's going to be situations like this again, and he's going to make those kicks. And then we're going to be better for it. We're going to win those games. So there's no more scrutiny on him than the rest of it.
In the Browns-Bengals game, Andre Szmyt made a costly mistake that many saw as the turning point. The weight of that blunder was heavy, and Szmyt felt like he had let everyone down. Just when it seemed like he was at his lowest, someone stepped in to offer support. That someone was a rookie, a player who, despite his own struggles and being off the roster, reached out to Szmyt in his time of need. This wasn't just a simple gesture. It spoke volumes about the rookie's character and the kind of person he is, both on and off the field. But the support didn't stop there. Myles Garrett, the star defensive end for the Browns, also stepped up, making it clear that if there was any blame to go around, it wasn't Szmyt's alone. Football is a team game, and if anyone was going to be scrutinized, it would fall on all of them, not just one player.
I would say just the energy. The energy around, I would say, since I've been around, the energy around like the Browns, I just feel like overall, it was a different spark.
Shedeur Sanders nailed it when he described the energy surrounding the Browns. It's electric. But it's not just the buzz of the environment. It's the fact that the Browns are the center of attention right now. And a lot of that spotlight is on Sanders himself. His presence, both on and off the field, has ignited something special. And there's no denying that all eyes are on them. The pressure is intense, and it was especially felt in the game against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Browns weren't under scrutiny because they were facing a tough opponent, but because they weren't playing Shedeur Sanders. That's the kind of attention that comes when you're the focus of the spotlight. And for Szmyt, the weight of that pressure became too much to handle. In a split second, the moment overwhelmed him. A crucial kick, and with all that tension in the air, Szmyt missed, sending the ball off target and effectively sealing the Browns' fate. It wasn't just a mistake. It was the consequence of carrying the heavy burden of expectation.
For the lead. And it is no good!
In a stadium already haunted by past failures, Szmyt's missed kick ignited a firestorm online. Browns fans took to Twitter in droves, calling for him to be benched, cut, or even released by Monday. The reaction was intense, but it's a reflection of the harsh reality this franchise faces. Every chance is critical, and one mistake can feel like a catastrophic failure. The pressure is always suffocating, and no one feels it more than the players themselves. At just 24 years old, Szmyt stands out from the typical rookie. He was brought in to be the calm, reliable kicker the Browns desperately needed, a position that has been a problem for the team for years. But after this game, he walked off the field carrying the weight of an entire franchise's dreams and frustrations. In that moment, it felt like all of it was on his shoulders. In times like these, when everything feels like it's falling apart, what a player truly needs is the support of their teammates. And in Szmyt's moment of distress, it was Shedeur Sanders who, despite dealing with his own challenges, reached out to offer a helping hand. Shedeur understood the pain Szmyt was experiencing, a feeling he was all too familiar with. Just like Szmyt after that missed kick, Shedeur had been crushed by his own struggles during the preseason. Yet, despite having faced a similar situation not long ago, he didn't hesitate to offer his support. His actions went beyond simple advice or words of encouragement. They showed a deep understanding of the pressure Szmyt was under, and he stepped up when it mattered most. Shedeur Sanders knew all too well what it was like to hit rock bottom. He had been in that place where everything seemed to fall apart. But unlike Szmyt, when Shedeur found himself in that position, there was no one from his team or coaching staff to offer support. He had to face it alone, carrying the weight of expectations and the sting of disappointment. Rather than letting that isolation break him, Shedeur chose not to blame anyone. He didn't point fingers or expect others to rescue him from the dark place he was in. Instead, he accepted it. He took full responsibility for his struggles, knowing that the only way forward was to put in the hard work and do whatever it took to turn things around. That resilience, that mindset, is what fueled his decision to reach out and support Szmyt. He proved that even in your lowest moments, you can still be there for someone else, lifting them up when they need it most.
I think I had a decent performance. Yeah. I think, it's a lot of areas I can improve in, in different things, but I'm going out there to compete the best I can.
Shedeur Sanders handled the aftermath with the calmness of a veteran. Instead of offering excuses, he was open and honest about his mistakes, breaking them down step by step. He acknowledged that he failed to keep his eyes on the right reads during those key moments, and admitted that he should have reacted faster and made more precise decisions to keep the offense moving. What really stood out was his refusal to pass the blame. Shedeur didn't point fingers at his offensive line or receivers. He took full responsibility for every misstep, even saying that every sack was on him. This level of accountability is rare, especially for someone so young. It showcased not just his maturity, but also the seriousness with which he embraces his role as a leader. His transparency and commitment to learning from his mistakes reflected a deep understanding of the game and a determination to return even stronger.
No, I gotta watch the film, honestly. I can't say what it was. It's definitely different places where I could got my eyes in better spots and got to the progressions quicker and regardless to anything, so all those sacks, they definitely on me.
Shedeur's determination has been the foundation of who he is today. And when he saw Szmyt in that difficult spot, he couldn't just stand aside. Having faced his own battles, he understood exactly what Szmyt was going through. He knew the heavy burden of that moment and couldn't let Szmyt face it alone. But Shedeur wasn't the only one stepping up to offer support. Veteran players like Myles Garrett also demonstrated true leadership. Garrett went beyond just offering words of encouragement. He defended Szmyt against all the criticism. He made it clear that everyone on the team had faced similar struggles at some point. Garrett reminded everyone that if there was going to be any blame, it should be shared by the entire team, not placed solely on Szmyt. This wasn't about shifting blame. It was about supporting each other as a collective.
I feel like saying something to people in that situation, especially if you don't know them that well. You don't know if you're adding unnecessary pressure, if he's already in that mindset. And there's going to be situations like this again, and he's going to make those kicks. And and we're going to be better for it. We're going to win those games. So there's no more scrutiny on him than the rest of it.
Let's be clear. Szmyt wasn't the only one who struggled in that game. Joe Flacco had his own share of mistakes, including some costly interceptions that weighed heavily on him. In his post-game press conference, it was clear how much the loss had affected him. Flacco's body language said it all. He was visibly shaken by his performance. He admitted to missing key opportunities, particularly with his throws, and acknowledged that his accuracy, placement, and trajectory were all off. Flacco didn't shy away from the fact that this game would linger with him for a while, and it was clear he felt personally responsible for letting his team down. The weight of those mistakes was obvious, and he was already processing just how much this loss hurt.
It's hard. Listen, when you lose football games, that's what happens. You're going to have plays that you look back on and think about. And, those guys, they played a really strong game for us today. Like I said, I think when you look at this film, you're going to see a lot of guys that did a lot of really good things. We just had some names that really did us.
In the end, both Andre Szmyt and Joe Flacco faced the immense weight of their mistakes, but their responses spoke volumes about their character. Szmyt, despite the crushing disappointment of his missed kick, found support in his teammates, particularly from Shedeur Sanders, who had experienced similar struggles. Shedeur's willingness to offer empathy and guidance showcased a level of maturity and leadership that transcended his own challenges. Myles Garrett also stepped up, reinforcing the idea that in football and in life, no one should bear the burden of failure alone. As for Flacco, his honest reflection on his own mistakes, acknowledging the costly interceptions and his missteps, demonstrated the depth of his accountability and the weight of being a leader. He too felt the sting of the loss and understood the responsibility that came with his position. In both cases, the true essence of leadership wasn't just about being perfect on the field, but about owning mistakes, showing vulnerability, and lifting others up in times of adversity. This game, full of struggles and setbacks, revealed the resilience and heart of these players, reminding us that growth often comes from the toughest challenges. What do you think about the way Szmyt and Flacco handled their mistakes? Do you believe the support from teammates like Shedeur and Myles Garrett helped them overcome their struggles? How important is it for leaders to show vulnerability and take responsibility, even when things go wrong? And finally, what does it say about a player's character when they can own up to their mistakes and still support others in similar situations? Drop your comments.